teacher, and his name was Bob Proctor from the movie The Secret. Meeting that man and being introduced to his light and his information changed my entire world. I built a successful 7-figure business in just 7 months. I created a persona, a version of myself who was a millionaire. And I believed wholeheartedly after a few months of self-concept and identity work that I could become the millionaire version of myself. I did $18 million in revenue in under 2 years. Has this last 5 years been all rainbows and sunshine? No, it has not. 2022 was the hardest year of my life since being in this work. I experienced a separation of my marriage, a deterioration of my team, and an emergency lung surgery from all the repressed grief that I didn't allow myself to feel in those moments. But what I can tell you about this contrast, about that year in my life, is that it has prepared me for the woman that is sitting here in front of you today. I've received multiple awards and accolades and trips and accomplishments, but these are not the things that make me so fulfilled. These are not the things that make me so happy. Those things that actually bring me true peace, true love, true joy into my life are the connections that I have with myself and with others, my ability to serve people through this work, and to step into the real version of me that lies within. We have people who have made millions and millions of dollars. We have people who have quantum leaped their life, who have manifested awards and accolades and #1 best-selling books. We have people that are making a significant difference in this world because they're choosing to become an elevated version of them. The biggest thing that I can tell you right now, and the biggest learning from this journey, is please do not underestimate yourself. Please dream bigger and choose grander. And I want to say thank you for joining me, for choosing you, and for allowing me to be the vessel that guides you towards the light that you are being drawn to in this moment. Only love and gratitude. Kathleen.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I am so grateful to see you all. I am excited to talk about money, one of my favorite topics. Sorry, I just have to see all your faces because it always goes directly just to me. and I have a very big screen here. So it's like my face very beautiful in front of me, but I want to see all of your incredible, beautiful faces. Ooh, I'm seeing some faces that I just saw in Toronto actually on this Zoom. So, oh, it's so good. I love meeting you guys in person. Absolutely love it. You're going to have an opportunity to meet me in person tomorrow, actually. So stay tuned and we'll talk a little bit more about that. But I am so excited to talk about wealth. I'm excited to talk about money. It has been one of many of the big changes in my life over the past 5 years. And what I can tell you is that it's not a little change. It's not subtle. It's actually very, very drastic. It has been a quantum leap upon quantum leap in my life related to finances. And I really, I went all in on this idea that if I change my consciousness, and I go from a poverty or lack consciousness, that I could create a abundance or prosperity consciousness in my mind, and it would bring more money into my life. And that is exactly what happened. I have studied different authors, but most importantly, I have embodied the ideas that I studied. I played around with it. I pushed my limits. I pushed the boundaries. I took wild and daring action, and it has worked out tremendously for me. Even Chris, who was my spouse at the time, looked at me with wide eyes going like, what are we going to do here? And I'm like, trust. We've got to trust. And so it's worked out beautifully. And I'm going to share with you guys over the next 2 days, my 5 biggest awarenesses. I'm calling them the 5 biggest secrets to wealth and prosperity, and I'm going to share them with you over the next 2 days. So we are going to be here for 2 days. Thursday and Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern to 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. I will be teaching the majority of the time. I will also be conducting an interview. I have a very, very dear friend of mine that is in my Modern Mentor program. It is also my own personal health coach. I'm going to interview her today, Mariah Brown. So you're going to get an opportunity to meet her and chat with her. And then tomorrow we are going to be giving away cash. So I'm actually going to be giving away $5,000 tomorrow. So you have got to be live today. You've got to be live tomorrow in order to receive the $5,000. Also, how do we know you're live? Your engagement in the chat. We can look at the Zoom and we can see who is live. On the YouTube stream, if you're on the YouTube stream, we can't see who's live. But if you're commenting in the chat and you're engaging in this workshop and you're answering the questions and you're present, we see your name and then we know you're there. So don't sit there and be super quiet. And let me tell you this too, the more you engage, the more you show up, the more involved you are, the more you listen, the more you will in fact experience the effects of this workshop in and itself. So yes, is there an opportunity for you to manifest $5,000 over these 2 days? Yes, there is. But is there an opportunity for you to manifest millions over your lifetime from this training? Abso-freaking-lutely, without a shadow of a doubt. You guys were making me laugh when I was sitting here because we played rap music at the beginning, old school Snoop Dogg. Some of you have no idea why that is, and you're like shocked. You're like, what? Why are we playing this music? And then some of you that were probably 80s babies are like, yeah, I love Snoop Dogg. But that song is actually where I got the title for this live event. So from that song, I was just sitting here one day and I'm like, oh man, we should do a money event called Mind on My Money and Money on My Mind. And so that's why we played that song. So just, you guys are comical. Some of you are like, rap music? What's happening? Listen, I can be in the meditative music, I can be calm and relaxed and visualizing and so full of love. And then I can put on some good rap music, okay? And I can get into that masculine energy a little bit, raise my vibration with some beats. So, it's all about the duality. There's multiple sides to everything, right? So anyways, you guys are just making me laugh, which I think is hilarious. But anyways, so good. I've gone over the live event. The other thing is, if you need anything over this live event, okay, you have a manifestation mentor on my team that can support you, assist you, help to serve you, right? So they've sent out emails, they've probably sent out text messages introducing themselves to you. So they're your point of support into Diamond Academy in any way. So if my team wants to raise their hands, please. My team will always have a Diamond Academy email. It won't come from Gmail, it won't come from Hotmail. And you will likely see me on their social media platform somewhere. We were all just together in Toronto. We celebrated Diamond Academy's 5th birthday at a beautiful dinner. So they are all part of my energy. They're a beautiful extension of me. Many of them are my closest friends. Many of them are support systems even to me as well. And I'm just so incredibly proud of them. So don't be afraid of them. Let them in your life. The feedback that I get, oh, Shannon's got her little one there. The feedback that I get about my team has been just absolutely phenomenal. My team leads with love, honestly, and they want nothing more than for all of you to experience what they're now experiencing, which is fulfillment, satisfaction, joy, peace, love, abundance, and prosperity. If you knew some of the ways in which these members of this team have manifested money into their lives, you would listen and you would get on a call with them. I'm just telling you that. Okay. Deborah makes in a month what she probably made in maybe a year or two. I don't even know. So it's a big shift. Katie, she's a millionaire. Okay. So Katie had a big awareness, and felt some kind of way in talking about that out loud. And so a couple months ago, she really allowed herself to live in that and be like, you know what? It's true. Her and her family have created that in their lives. It's really beautiful. So I want you to welcome them into your lives. They're so special and so amazing. And they're always going to be here to support you no matter what. So thank you, team. Love you all so much. Do I have anything else that I missed? I don't think so. I think that was all okay. So I want to talk a little bit about me and my relationship with money and my journey. The reason I want to share this with you is because I really, really did certain things and made certain changes. And I was a certain way, and that way created the life that I lived. So before this work, before studying wealth and wealth consciousness, I always wanted more. And I would honestly tell you, I always had very expensive taste. So I was always someone that really, really liked nice things, and I always had a desire for more. And I remember I had this graphic I found once. It said something like, well, I got to get a job that pays me according to my taste, because this isn't working. But what I did is I became a registered nurse. And so when I became a registered nurse, I decided in that moment, okay, I was unaware, but I made the decision at that moment to be limited financially. And so what I mean by that is I chose a career path that had a cap. I was literally part of a union. There was an hourly wage cap. There was no additional way for me to make money. I would have had to do a second business or start a business, do something else, get a second job, because that vessel to receive my abundance through was limited. And it was limited to about $100,000 a year. I don't know too many nurses that are pushing past like maybe 110 a year. And you get pension and the benefits, but what's pension and the benefits when you're making $40 million? It's not as important, I'll just tell you that. It doesn't really matter too much, but it's just a different way of thinking. So that version of me had enough money to pay my bills every single month, yes. So I wasn't going into debt every single month. I wasn't going like $2,000, $3,000 into debt. I built a life where the amount of money that we made as a family covered pretty much all of our bills and everything, our mortgage, our car, all that kind of stuff, without much left over. And then, we wanted to finish our basement. So we saved up money to finish our basement, and maybe that cost $25,000. It took us a couple years to save it up. And then we spent it on the basement because it would be a good investment. We would get a good return on our investment on our basement. Oh my gosh, would I do something like that now? Absolutely not. I would not. That is the worst return on investment ever. It is not going to make you millions of dollars to finish your basement for $25,000. I've taken a course for $25,000 that made me millions. See the difference in what we think is acceptable to invest in and not invest in? It's just so interesting what we're taught. So anyway, I got into this material, I started studying, I started really opening my mind up. So what does it mean to have an open mind? It means to allow the subconscious mind to believe different ideas, to question and challenge, and to be curious about what do I currently believe about life, about the world, about myself, about money, about abundance, right? And to start thinking from what you would love to experience instead of what you've always experienced. Right? Every single rags to riches story that you will ever hear, what is the primary premise in these stories? They challenged the paradigm. They challenged the belief system. They challenged the environment. They said, yes, everyone else in my life is poor. Yes, I live in a poor environment. Yes, my world would tell me right now that I have $0. I maybe don't even have a house. I maybe don't even have anywhere to live. But you know what? That's not my reality. That is not my truth. And so they start thinking from a different place, a different experience. I have somebody that messaged me yesterday. They were in the last iteration of my Wealth from Within course, and they were homeless. And they messaged me, so homeless and invested in a course. What would the old version of you have said about that? What a waste of your money. Why would you put your money into a course? I think it was the most brilliant thing she could have done. She messaged me yesterday, she's 7 times her income. 7 times her income. So not such a silly decision anymore, is it? No. So this is what I'm talking about. I want to read you something from You Too Can Be Prosperous. Okay, I want to read you something really, really quick. So You Too Can Be Prosperous, Robert Russell. And this is it right here. So this was one of the first lines that I read that I went, okay. So we have got this all wrong. We think that money is about making money, about earning money. We think it's about business strategy. We think it's about opportunity. We think it's about having degrees. We think it's about skill sets. We think it's about what we're good at and who we know. I want to question all of that. So he says here, we all want wealth in one form or another, but financial wealth comes not through special abilities, talents, thrift, influence, environment, favorable conditions, or physical effort. It comes as a result of thinking, acting, and believing in a certain way. Thinking, acting, and believing. I would even add speaking. Thinking, acting, believing, speaking in a certain way. So what does that mean for every single one of us on the Zoom or the live stream right now? Every single one of us has the same opportunity for wealth. If we believe it's skill, if we believe it's gender, if we believe it's race, if we believe it's education, if we believe it's influence, if we believe it's opportunity, then we think that there's something that they have, the wealthy have, that we don't have, and so we're screwed. There's nothing we can do. But this here, thinking, speaking, acting, believing, every single one of you has the ability to do this. There's no limitation. There is no cap. There is no flaw. There's no part of your consciousness that is less than or inferior. There is nothing about you that's keeping you blocked or away from wealth. It means every single one of us have the exact same opportunity to experience wealth to whatever degree we want. Why have I experienced wealth in such a phenomenal way? Because I'm willing to allow myself to have it. I'm willing to allow myself to receive it. I'm willing to think from that amount of money. I'm willing to act as if I have that amount of money. I'm willing to speak in language that allows that kind of money to come. And I'm willing to believe that that amount of money is available to me. So how does a registered nurse from a smaller town in Ontario, Canada, how does she go from making $100,000 a year to moving the energy of 42, we're probably at 42 million now over the past 5 years? How do you do that? You reprogram your beliefs. That's what you do. And that's exactly what I'm going to teach you guys here today. So beautiful. It is a matter of doing things in a certain way and of holding to that through thick or thin. That's the second piece, okay? So it's thinking in that certain way, it's being in that certain way, it's adopting a wealth consciousness and sticking to it no matter what. Do you think that somebody can come in here and say to me, oh, Kathleen, no, this is crazy, this is bananas, this is not real, this is not truth? Absolutely not. You can't convince me otherwise. I am convinced. And was someone convincing me? Did somebody come in here and say, Kathleen, you can be wealthy, trust me? No, I did that to myself. I convinced myself. So that's the truth about this. But I also wanted to, I'm working with a beautiful woman now. Her name is Brianna, and you can probably see her on my Instagram. She is helping me with my social media. I'm getting to the point right now where I'm going for surgery on Monday. So I'm having surgery on Monday. We'll be recovering for about 6 weeks. And so she's going to help support me through that. But I've also brought her on to support me in other ways because now everything is growing so quickly. We've got so many comments and DMs and the views are going up on everything. My magnet is flourishing, which I'm so grateful for. But Brianna's supporting me. And one of the things that Brianna is helping me to be aware of is that my lifestyle now, 5 years later, is not the average lifestyle that everyone lives. And so things have become normal and natural for me. So I don't really even share about them or talk about them because they're who I am now. But they weren't before. And so I want to give you a couple of little examples of some ways in which wealth has come into my life that might be a little bit surprising to you and how different my life is. So, for example, Christmas. Christmas time used to be a time where I would ask for Christmas all of the things that I didn't have the money to pay for throughout the year. So I would be like, get me all of my toiletries that cost a lot of money. Get me all of my skincare, refill my creams and my lotions and my potions, because those are going to cost me a couple $100. So give them to me as my Christmas gifts every year. And I would really want to be gifted things that I would use and that I needed. nothing frivolous, nothing over the top. Everything I did in my life was based on need. What do I need in my life? And I only want that need to be fulfilled. I would never buy myself anything or whatever. Christmas time now, people are like, what do we get you? And I literally don't have an answer because I have everything I want in my life, everything. If I want something, I go and I buy it. I don't even hesitate. I don't question it. My skincare, I just buy it on a random Wednesday. Like, I now buy things in bulk. I have my assistant order all of my stuff for me now, who's my beautiful sister. And so that's one example of the difference between a life that is restricted, that is limited, that feels small and lacking, where your birthday gifts or your Christmas gifts are deodorant, right? And this is very common. But now that I wouldn't get that. So now when people ask me, what do you want for Christmas or your birthday? I say something sentimental. I would love a bouquet of flowers. I would love a handwritten note. I would love a little message. I would love a video of you singing to me. You know what I mean? It's not about big things now, because I can have anything I want and purchase it at any moment that I want it. And that's what I want for you. That's what prosperity is. True prosperity is getting what you want in the moment you want it. It's going and traveling to the place you want to travel in the moment you want to travel there. It's no restriction and no limitation. Is there another level for me? Of course. Of course there's another level. I have stayed in hotels where Lady Gaga was in the room right before me, New York City at the Plaza. I don't even know how much that hotel room was per night. I know it was $55,000 for like 5 days. So that's like $10,000, $12,000 a night. A night, okay? So for me to make $12,000 in my past life, it would have been months. It probably would have been a year for me to have $12,000 extra dollars. And imagine that spending it one night in a hotel. We've flown private. I flew my team to Vegas. I think that was probably $100,000 just one way to go to Vegas with my team on a private jet, right? These are the types of things, these are the types of experiences that I've had because I changed my consciousness. I've also had the beautiful opportunity to do some pretty incredible charitable things. I've sponsored villages in Africa. I've dropped 10,000, 20,000 at live charitable functions where they're looking for donors, and I get to raise my hand and be like, yes, I would love to do that. I'd love to make that. My grandmother was passing away a couple of months ago, I think it was now, and my sister and my brother would not have been able to go to say goodbye to my grandmother, and I got to just pay for their flights. And we all sat in first class on the way home together, mourning the loss of my grandmother, who actually passed that very next day after we left. So these are the types of experiences that money has allowed me to step into. And for you, you might not feel like you want big luxurious things. You're like, I would never spend $12,000 a night at a hotel. Don't dismiss that idea, please. Because if you're making enough money to spend $12,000 a night at a hotel, you are rolling in it. You are drowning in it. You have more than enough. And I would never turn that away. So what I say to those opportunities, I toured the Inner Circle actually came with me. I toured it a couple of times, and then they came with me, and we spent the day in a $68 million mansion in the Bel Air Canyons in California. And you know what my thought is? It's 20,000 square feet, the most spectacular thing I've ever seen. It was phenomenal. Would I buy that specific house myself? No, I wouldn't, no matter how much money I had, because I want to be on the ocean in Malibu. But what I said when I was in there was, I am open to receive this level of abundance. I am open to receive this level of abundance. So every single time somebody tells a story, or they say this or they say that, I'm like, oh yeah, that's for me. I'm open to receive that level of abundance. Because if the mind rejects it, if the mind says, no, that's bad, that's wrong, you shouldn't do that, that's awful, you're rejecting the very thing you want. And I want you to remain open to the receivership of that thing. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay. So it's really beautiful. I was looking up my text messages with Bob Proctor the other day. And so it was really cool. I'll go and I'll look at it sometimes. I saved it. And one of the text messages that I sent to him was, And it just took me right back to that moment. I texted him and I said, Bob, remember when I made $1 million in 7 months? I said, I just made $1 million in 7 weeks. And then a couple months later, I said, Bob, I just made $1 million in 7 days. In 7 days, collapsing time just like this. And so I'm always willing to expand my wealth consciousness. I'm always willing to go further. I'm always willing to go deeper, to be braver, to be bolder, right? And if I can achieve this, if I can do this, and not through hard work, not through hustle and grind, not through degrees. Like I have a lot of degrees, but none about making money, right? This is a consciousness. Nobody taught me how to make money. Nobody taught me how to be a business owner. Nobody taught me how to sell on social media. It's all a consciousness. It's all a consciousness. And Bob was the first one to introduce me to this idea. And so if I can be the first one to introduce you to this idea, oh my gosh, let your life be changed, please. Let your life be changed. Bob is definitely with us today. I felt him this morning for sure. So yeah, you can say hello to him and welcome him into this beautiful energy. He's cheering you all on. He's saying, just listen to her. Just listen to her. Trust, 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 trust. Okay. So wealth consciousness is the goal. Okay, it is absolutely the goal. So I'm going to share with you 5 ways that I changed my consciousness, 5 things I did. These are like the 5 biggest secrets that nobody's willing to tell you about wealth generation. Okay, I'm not teaching you how to make money, or I'm not teaching you how to earn money. You'll hear me say that I vibrationally moved a certain amount of money, or I attracted, but I really stay away from the earned language. One thing I did not do that we're going to do right now is a prayer. Okay, as we start these 5 secrets, I'm just going to read us a beautiful little prayer to start off. We did a prayer with the team. So then we did a prayer with the team before we came on. So then when we came on, I was like, well, we prayed, but we didn't. So we're going to pray right now. One of my absolute favorite prayers, Neil Donald Walsh, Happier Than God. So put your hand over your heart if you feel called. Thank you, God. Thank you for this divine moment, for this live stream, and for all these participants. Thank you for this life and for the wonder of this beautiful moment. Thank you for everything that has ever happened to me, is happening now, and ever will happen. For all of it has produced the perfection of this next breath and the glory of who I am now going to be. And thank you for all the abundance that you are moving into every individual's life today. They are open to receive, they are thankful, and they are grateful. Amen. Amen. Okay, 5 secrets. Okay, so I'm going to give you one secret and then we will interview Mariah Brown and talk a little bit about that. So one of the things that is so incredibly important and powerful is the feeling of abundance. Okay, so we understand that we live in a vibrational world. What does that mean, a vibrational world? We are energy. Everything around us is energy. We are all made up of the same energy, right? Sorry, my water is all in behind here. My electrolytes. I'm doing all my things. I'm getting all my electrolytes in, my greens in. Oh, it's stuck in behind all this shit. Hold on. Oh, did I just swear? My bad. Oh, Tootie's laughing at me. Okay, so the feeling of abundance, okay? So what is the feeling that most of us are in? Lack of limitation, right? So most of us are living our everyday life in a lack feeling. And what does a lack feeling feel like? Is it good? No, it's not good. So to feel like you don't have enough, right? The feeling of not enough, that's lack. So it means something is missing. I think about it this way. When you feel so full, right? It doesn't mean that you're at capacity, but when you feel full, when you feel whole, when things feel really, really incredible and really, really amazing, that's our true state. Our true state is wholeness. So lack and limitation then is something in your mind, in your ego, that's telling you that there's not enough. What do we not have enough of in our lives? What are some of the major complaints that we have that we don't have enough of? Yeah. Enough time, enough money, enough support, enough love, enough freedom. Yeah. Enough help. Yeah. Enough resources. We don't have enough education. We don't have enough experience. We don't have enough friends, connections, skills. Yeah. So when you're always feeling like you don't have enough, the vibration that you're giving off out into the world is not enough, not enough, not enough, not enough, not enough. And what you will find is you will attract people in that same not enough energy. So you will call people into your life that want to talk about how there's not enough. And it becomes this dominant thing where we sit around and we just constantly complain, gossip, and vent about all the areas of our lives that aren't good. I wish that when, and I'm going to do it, but I'm going to change the narrative in this one. But I was going to say, when I wish I was in school, I wish somebody sat me down and said, listen, if you talk about every single day with your friends, with your parents, with your colleagues, and with your peers, how amazing life is, and if you talk about all the things that you're grateful for and all the things that you love about your life, and you sit there and go out to lunch with the girls, and you guys just talk about how amazing you are and how incredible, and you try to beat each other at how good your life is, it'll make your life really good. I wish someone would teach our children that lesson, that every time we sit around and we complain and we gossip and we vent and we bitch and moan about our lives, holy cow, we are literally calling in that same experience. We are bringing it in. It is the law of attraction, right? So the law of vibration says we're always vibrating. We're always in a feeling, right? So if you are in that lack feeling, if you are in that not enough feeling, you're vibrating as that feeling, which then means you attract from that feeling. But here's another kicker, okay? This is really important. So there's the law of attraction, there's the law of vibration, but there's also guiding and directing source energy through your thoughts, through your feeling, through your action. So every single day we are walking around directing source energy, God energy, to where we want it to go. And it's not like a magic wand. Okay, here's my selenite wand, okay? Anybody else have a selenite wand? You're gonna need this as you start to ascend and elevate. When those low vibrational things are happening or people are around you, I just put it on my third eye chakra and I just cleanse. I just cleanse out the negative energy because I want my energy to be mine only, right? So anyways, so let's say this is our magic wand, right? And we say, okay, I'm a witch, I am magical, and I'm gonna say, give me more money today, okay? Source, here, we're going here. So source energy comes through the wand and it says, oh, okay, this is where we're going, and it magically does that. It doesn't work that way. It's not like a magic wand. It's your thoughts. So every thought you have is your magic wand. Every feeling that you have every day is your magic wand. The words that you're speaking, magic wand. Energy that you're in, magic wand. The action that you take, magic wand. So you might be thinking to yourself, I would love to make more money. I would love that. But you're thinking about how you don't have enough. You're feeling like you never have enough. You lay in bed at night and you are dreaming about not having enough, or you're worried about not having enough. You wake up in the morning and you tell your husband, I really don't want to pay that bill today. We really can't afford this and we really can't afford that. And then you take action. Well, you know what? I really would love a Starbucks coffee this morning, but it's a little bit too much money. So I'm just going to make a coffee at home to save some money. All of your thoughts, feelings, actions, and words, remember the things that at the beginning, what I read to you about prosperity, okay, in a certain way. So every time you are thinking like that, you're going, God, we're going here, lack and limitation. God, we're going here. God, we're going here. So you are actually using your magic wand to direct creative source energy, which creates everything. You're directing it towards who you are being, not who you want to be. This is where we get tripped up. You must be abundance. You must be abundance. Eric asked me such a beautiful question yesterday. He said, Kathleen, I heard you say once that abundance is our natural state. Can you explain this to me? I don't get it. What do you mean? And I was like, okay. Does lack and limitation exist outside of us? Does the feeling of not enough exist outside of us? Is it walking around in the world without us? Is it existing? Is it part of the world? Is the world a lack and limitation world? Are we running out of things? Okay, the media will try to tell you that we are, and I don't want you to fall for that. The media will try to tell you that there's some sort of economic recession. I would not believe that if I were you. The world is going to try to tell you that there's not enough running water. I wouldn't believe that if I were you. Okay, so these are all about beliefs that I'm talking about. So there's what the outside world wants to tell you is true, but I'm just changing your focus to see that we actually live in a world that is abundance. It is prosperity. It is not lack and limitation. There is no not enough going on anywhere outside of your mind. So let's take a little walk outside the door right now. If I go outside and I look at my house and the world I live in, there is so much green here, I couldn't even count it. I couldn't count the grass. I couldn't count the leaves on the trees. There is so much green. It is overflowing and abundant, right? I'm right near the Great Lakes of Ontario. You can ride on the Great Lakes for months on a boat. You can go in the ocean and not find land. So you can't tell me that there's not enough water on our planet. How long does it take? How many hours is a plane ride to go from Canada to Australia? 20 something hours? In a fast plane. Our world is so big. How many people are there in the world? And we just keep popping them out. We don't even know how many now. Last time I heard it was 6 billion. Now they say 7 billion. Now we're like, oh, they recalculated and we're up to 8 billion. Okay. And you think there's not enough? Wowzers. And then let's talk about money. Have you been to Vegas? Has anybody been to Vegas? Oh my gosh. So think about how much money goes through Vegas in one day. Okay? All those slot machines, all of those poker tables, baccarat tables. There is a lot of money. And then think about all the guests that are coming into Vegas. They all go for dinner and they all gamble and then they go to the shows and they stay in the hotels. There is a lot of money circulating around us. A lot. And it's not a supply issue. It's a demand issue. Okay? It's a demand issue. So what that means is there is so much money available to all of us. Unlimited amounts of money available to each and every one of us. What is kinking our hose is our belief systems. It's our demand. So you're not thinking about millions. So the universe is never going to give you millions. You'll never experience that which you don't first think of. How do I know that? It's a universal law. It's the perpetual transmutation of energy. Any idea held in the screen of the mind will manifest into the physical form by law. Creation begins in the mind. If you don't think about it, you will never experience it. You won't. Why do people win the lottery and then end up right where they were? It's not just about money, is it? So you can manifest winning the lottery, but then you don't change your consciousness, you don't change your belief systems, so you're still in the not enough feeling, in the poverty consciousness, and then you circulate the money that you won in the lottery, and then it's gone and no more comes. Right? Change your consciousness to a wealth consciousness. So getting money doesn't create a wealth consciousness. If that were to be the case, then every single individual that won the lottery would continue to be wealthy over their lifetime. It's not the money that creates it. So we have this belief that once I get rich, then I'll think like a rich person. Doesn't work that way. It does not work that way. It is actually the wealth consciousness that then creates the wealth and the maintenance of the wealth and the increased levels of wealth into your life. And if you've done thing once, you can do it again and again and again and again. But you have to change the consciousness first. So the feeling of abundance, right? This is very powerful. The feeling of abundance. So the most important part of this entire journey is going to be in your self-awareness. If you are someone that is heavily in your ego, and I mean in your personal mind, you're not going to allow yourself to notice what you're thinking and feeling. But I want you to be an observer of your thoughts. I want you to be introspective. So introspective means that you're going to go inside and notice yourself. So if you're someone that's outside yourself all the time, you're watching podcasts, you're watching YouTubes, you're watching TV, you're always with your kids, you're always on the phone with a friend, you're always on social media scrolling, you're always working in your business. Where do you have time to be with yourself, to notice yourself, and to pay attention? I am very, very good at this. I want to give you a little example. I noticed yesterday on my inner circle call, I was meeting with my inner circle, and I made myself a drink that was greens. It was superfoods, and it had vegetables and fruit in it. And this is the power of the mind, but I'm giving you an example of how I use my mind for good and how I notice things. So I made this drink and I used a frother to froth it all up and bring it over. And I smelt it and it smelled pretty good. And then when I sit down to meet with my inner circle, I look at it and it's all starting to settle. It's all starting to settle in the bottle of the glass, and I could see all the powder floating. And I looked at it, I went, oh, that looks disgusting. I'm going to hate that. Okay? So what did I do? Just leave it there? No. Because I know that getting the superfoods into my body, especially 4 days before surgery, is important. That to get all those vitamins, nutrients, minerals is important. So if I believe that this is going to be disgusting and it's gross, then I'm not going to want to drink it. And I'm going to make the experience an awful experience for myself. So in that moment, right as I was opening up my inner circle, I had the thought, oh, this looks disgusting. I'm going to hate that. And I went, no. Kathleen, no. And in my head, I went, this is going to be delicious. This looks so good. I am going to love that. It is going to fuel my body perfectly. Yummy. And then I took a sip in the belief that I loved it and that it was delicious before I took a sip. And it was good. Honestly, it was good. I couldn't feel the powder. I did this with salad. Yes, you guys all know me. But this is exactly what I want you to do with money. So in the moment that you have a thought that is lack and limitation, you've got to be aware of it. You've got to notice. But if I'm on autopilot and I'm not self-aware, I'm not going to notice that I had that thought. I'm just going to have the thought, think it, take a sip and go, ugh, and put it aside. Right? So this is where awareness and being an observer of yourself is very, very important. So I want you to notice, what are you thinking about money? What are you thinking about other people that have money? When I told you the stories about flying private and staying in the hotel and all the money that I was spending and how much money I spent on a hotel room for one night, what did you think? Put it in the chat. Honestly, if you've been in this material with me for a while, I know what your answer is going to be. That's excessive. I thought, no way. Good for you. I loved it. Crazy. What a blessing. Fabulous. Good. Dang, I want that. Crazy. My norm. I was pissed. That's good. So good. It's all awareness. And once you know it, you see it, right? You're 100% going to be able to experience that, right? Which is so beautiful. But if you're unaware of it, you don't see it. I thought it was extravagant. Don't you want to live an extravagant life? Yeah. So question that. What in your mind tells you that having millions of dollars, billions of dollars is wrong? People will even say, oh, that's so materialistic. Okay, you're materialistic too. You know how you're materialistic too? You have material things as well. You have a house, you have a car, you have purses, you have jewelry, you have Zoom, you have internet, you have a TV. That's materials, right? So what you're actually saying when you're calling someone materialistic is you're actually judging someone's abundance and prosperity. You are making them wrong, which is keeping you in lack and limitation. It's not true and it's not real. It's not true and it's not real. If you want to experience higher levels of abundance and prosperity in your life, then you have to drop the judgment around money. And you have to notice what you're noticing about other people, other wealthy people. What is that experience? What does it feel like when other people have all this money and you don't? I got to the point where I was like, you did what? You made $1 million in a week? Oh, I'm here for that. I'm open to receive that. Right? And the way in which my life has changed related to wealth and prosperity, my daughters' lives have changed. Every single person in my life's life has changed. Students' lives have changed. It's been so beautiful. And if you think about some of the most advanced individuals when it comes to wealth, do you know how much money they spend on charities and sponsorships and giveaways? And how much economy they're creating? Think about Oprah and what she does and the economy that she's built and the impact that she's made in this world. Would you look at her and be like, how materialistic? Oprah? Of course not. Of course not. It's so beautiful. She wasn't born into a life like that, right? She created wealth consciousness, and she actually talks about and teaches this. This is her truth. I can't wait for her to be on my podcast and share that story. Manifesting. It's already manifested. I wonder which day Oprah will be on my podcast. What day of the week will I interview her? I'm excited to find out source. Anyways, so this is important. But I also want us to understand, though, too, that abundance and happiness aren't correlated. Okay? So many of us think that once we have abundance, we will be happy. It's not the truth, right? Because when you're functioning in a lack and limitation and a not enough vibration, you're in displeasure. And when you're in displeasure, even if money comes, the displeasure will still exist. You will find something else to be displeased with. Money doesn't fix your mood. Does money make you have more freedom? Does it give you more opportunity? Will you be excited and go and buy a bunch of things and feel free? Yes. But after a little while, you're going to realize that it's not just about money. Money doesn't fix all your problems. Money won't fix your marriage. It won't fix your health. Money is not going to fix the idea of who you think you are in your mind. Money is not the one solution that will fix everything. You know what that one solution is? You. Yeah. That one solution is the way you see the world. It's what you believe in. It's the way you show up. Yeah, it's very, very powerful. So what I would love for all of you, what my desire is for all of you, is that all of you manifest a human experience that is so full of love, so full of joy, so full of peace, and so full of abundance that you have everything. And that you've created this consciousness that has learned how to go with the flow. So that no matter what comes at you, no matter what adversity or contrast or life experience comes your way, that you just go with the flow, right? So there will always be turbulence in life. The wealthy don't just have a safe, smooth flight in their life. They still experience turbulence, right? There's always going to be loss. There's always going to be conflict. There's always going to be experiences that we're all going to have, no matter how much money that you do have. So I want to create this beautiful consciousness. And I use the example of being on an airplane, right? When you're on an airplane, when I'm on an airplane and there's turbulence, I literally like hold my glass of ice water up and I just ride the turbulence. And I'm like, oh, fun ride. This is great. Knowing I'm going to land safely, knowing everything's okay. It's all working out in my favor. There's going to be some bumps and sometimes I might get a little nauseous. I get that feeling. I'm like, oh, I'm glad that nauseous feeling's going away now. I would never say I'm nauseous. I'm like, oh, I'm so glad that nauseous feeling's going away now. But like 2 rows over, this lady's sitting there and she's gripping like this and crying and so upset and so scared. And she's fighting for her life on this airplane. How do we have 2 different experiences of the same thing? Because one of us is in a fear-based paradigm and one of us is in a faith-based paradigm. One of us has that certainty, that knowing. One of us has a nervous system that's calm and relaxed. And the other version of us is gripping tightly, nervous system triggered and activated, in fight or flight. So do you think that that individual is just in fight or flight on the airplane? No. They're in fight or flight in their life. They're just unaware of it. It shows up on the airplane, but they're in fight or flight in their life. So where in your life are you in fight or flight? Where in your life are you in fear? Where in your life are you fighting the turbulence? You're fighting the waves. That's where the awareness is. Right? So I want all of you to experience the good life. Every time everybody asks me now, they're like, Kathleen, how are you? I'm like, amazing. Like, I'm literally amazing. Like, life is so good. I'm open to receive, I'm open to see how much better life can get. It is so good. But it's because the more I go into this work, and the more that I emotionally regulate, and the more aware I become, and the more I change my belief systems, and the more I let things flow in and out of my life, the more I don't take things so serious, the better my life gets. It's not coincidence. It's by design. It's not coincidence. It's by design. So I want to move you from lack and limitation to abundance and prosperity. The first step to doing that is to acknowledge where the lack is present in your life. So where is the lack thinking? Where do you speak words that come from lack and limitation? Where do you feel like you're not enough, there's not enough? And where do you take action from the idea of not enough? Right? So one beautiful example is when someone signs up for my millionaire program, they make the decision, I want to take your millionaire program. And they take action from that want. I believe this course is going to make me a millionaire. I believe I'm worthy of the millions. I make the decision to enroll in it. I sign up, I pay. Maybe it's a payment plan. Maybe it's pay in full. They make that decision. They experience incredible growth and success from the decision that they made to move on the idea of being a millionaire. So somebody messaged me the other day and they said that they have 20 times more freedom in their life and they're only 2/3 of the way through the program. 20 times more freedom in their life, 2/3 of the way. So what happened there? They acted upon a prosperity idea. They let go of doubt, worry, fear, and they acted in faith and certainty and made the decision. Now, what happens if you decide you want to take the millionaire program, you're just about to do it, and then you say, no, I'm going to wait. What are you doing? You're acting in the assumption that there's not enough. You're making a decision from lack and limitation. You're letting fear, worry, and doubt in, and you're now acting in the assumption from lack. So you're literally saying, universe, no millions. Not here. Don't come here. You're not welcome here. So I'm always like, ooh, don't close the door. Don't decide not to. Keep the door open. Allow yourself to be open to receive in all ways. One little example, how you're acting in limitation. So I want you to be aware of where the limitations are. Where is that not enough? Then I want to move you out of needing more money to wanting it. If you need more money in your life right now, If you need it, you're attached to it. What do I mean by that? When you need something in your life, you have an emotional attachment to the need for it, which means you are in lack and limitation because you don't have it. And when you need something, you don't have something. So you are very firmly stuck in the need for something. So we see this in the dating world all the time. I need a man in my life. My life is missing something. I don't have something. And so if you need, do you think men find that needy energy attractive? Mm-mm. Oh no. They are like, whew, this woman is like attached at the hip. No way, I'm out of here. It's a very unattractive energy, right? So what's the attractive energy? Want is an attractive energy. Want. So when you want for something, it's a very different energy than need, right? So if you need a baby, you cannot get pregnant and you need a baby. Your life is not going to be fulfilled. Your dream is to be a mother. And it has been a year and you've tried every single month for a year and it is not working. And you need it. You really do. Every single month you get that negative test and you are just floored. You're crestfallen, right? You need it. You're attached. So that attachment energy, it's gripping tightly, it's tense. And when something is tense like this, it's not in that flow state, it's not in the let state, it's not in the surrender state. So you are revved up and tense. Why do you think their massage therapy is such a powerful industry right now? Because we got a whole bunch of really tense individuals around, stressed to the max. They need massages to loosen them up, right? So I'm just getting you to loosen it up in the mind, in the thinking. So say to the universe, you know what? I would absolutely love a baby, but if I never get it, that's okay. Life is good. I trust that I will have my baby. It's okay. That's all it is a surrender and it's a let. I used to be a labor and delivery nurse, okay? And so women would come in and they would be in labor and they would be upset and stressed out and tense. And they were like this and they're holding on and I'm trying to get them to relax, Then we give them an epidural, okay? So give them an epidural and then suddenly they're relaxed, they fully dilate. Where for like 8 hours, 10 hours, they were stuck at 2 centimeters dilated. Did the epidural help them dilate? No, it was that they relaxed. They let, they surrendered. Why do women go and get IVF for their first baby and then their second baby, they naturally get pregnant by accident? Because the need for a baby's gone. The attachment is gone. So that's where I want you to be when it comes to money. Karen Baker is feeling this. She is like, this is true. You must be like a labor and delivery nurse or something, eh, Karen? Or you work in healthcare or something? No? Oh, okay. But I'm just giving you real life examples so you can see that it's the same energy when it comes to money. If you're gripping it tightly, if you're holding on to it, if you need it for your worth, for your importance, for your value, for your life to be better, you're gripping it so tightly that you're not surrendering, you're not letting, and you're not relaxing. So when I launched my coaching business in January of 2020, my ego did not need millions of dollars. My life didn't need it. I was in this energy of like, listen, I am abundance and prosperity. I have convinced myself I'm a millionaire and now I'm just going to collect it all. Let's go. And I was so excited. I was in joyful expectation. I allowed it all to come. But when it's attachment, need, you're not in the want. So it's okay to want and it's okay to desire. That's the beginning point of all manifestation. But that's not the end point. You can't stay in want. You can't stay in desire. You have to act from the having feeling. Okay, so need, to want, desire, to believing it's possible for you, to knowing it's who you are. That's the having. Okay, so we're gonna talk about having after I talk to Mariah. Okay, is Mariah here? Let's bring her up. I can't wait to talk about this with her. I could talk to Mariah for hours. Hello, beautiful.
Hi, this is so thrilled for this conversation. And I'm here taking notes too.
Good, good. I want you to make $10 million in your business by the end of the year.
Let's go.
I would love that for you. Did I
I,
just expand your awareness? Did you think you could do 10 million before the end of the year?
before this moment, probably not. But yes,
Mm.
that's 10 million can be absolutely doable.
Yes. See how she went into her own awareness to notice what did I actually believe before this call? And now, since this call, what can I now believe? So she just noticed her own awareness. But Mariah, we have had a beautiful journey, and I just want to introduce you to this beautiful audience today because we met in Miami not long after my surgery, and then I hired Mariah for a large sum of money. At the time, I thought it was high, but now I don't think so. But anyways, raise your prices. But anyway, so I hired Mariah. We spent 6 months working together on all things related to my health. And my recovery was absolutely miraculous and beautiful. And now Mariah is supporting me again in preparation for my upcoming surgery on Monday. And I'm doing what she tells me to do. And I feel the best I've ever felt. And just a little side note, because I want to talk more about you, but my blood work between when we worked together in 2023 and, or was late 2022? I can't
Yeah, I think
remember.
it was 22. Yeah.
But the difference in my blood work between the last time and this time has been, it's substantial. But what's so beautiful is I accepted the idea of health in my mind, in my consciousness, the identity, and my blood work now reflects the idea that I had in my mind. Because obviously now the behaviors reflect it too, but my behaviors simply were natural and automatic based on my belief system. So it was beautiful to see that. But Mariah, why don't you tell them a little bit about what you do?
Yeah, sure. And I have to put in the plug. The cool thing for me is it's not just your blood work, but we're looking through urine and saliva and stool and blood. So across the board, it has been miraculous and substantial and so fun to support. So yes, like she said, I'm Mariah Brown. I'm a Yale and functional medicine trained women's health provider, and I help ambitious individuals reclaim their health. I have online courses and a podcast, and I host retreats. And I was a midwife for 17 years, attending births. And so been doing this for 25. And I feel like although I'm not attending births, it's still the same thing. It's this surrender, it's this trust, it's midwifing people through chapters of change. And it's been a total delight to both receive from Kathleen and her community and be here to support her but behind the scenes.
Yeah, so beautiful. And I think the beautiful thing about our relationship is that there is this collaborative, beautiful opportunity for us to support each other in different areas, right? Like, so for me, it's in that health area, and in that, mindset related to health as well, and the feeling of who I am in this body and how to honor this vessel, the vibrancy. I love that word that you use, vibrancy. But there's also a way for me to support Mariah as well in things like her business growth and her wealth consciousness. And so that's where, as coaches, it is so important to have coaches. And I'm a huge advocate of that. Like, it's so important to notice the areas of your life where you don't have the knowledge, the education, the skill, you don't have the awareness, maybe you haven't experienced it, and you find somebody that has, that can help you, save time, collapse time. I always say Bob blazed a trail that I just got to run in behind. That's how I feel like mentorship is. So I think it's really beautiful. But you are now in our Modern Mentor course, but you took Wealth from Within before too, didn't you?
I did. It's been interesting leading up to today over the last couple of days, just kind of reminiscing on the whole journey. Because it was right after your lung surgery, you had posted, you had the in-person event in Miami, and
Yeah.
you'd posted a giveaway of a VIP ticket. And all I had to do was like make an Instagram post and tag you.
Mhm.
And at the time, we shared the same marketing team, and I had a full body knowing, no
Mm.
hesitation, no doubt that I was going to do it and I was going to win the spot, and that you were going to become a client. I don't know if I've
Wow. See, full body knowing.
full body knowing. And of course, that's exactly what happened. And even though that was the event that you missed, I changed my flight, added an extra day of the Four Seasons because I knew that you were still going to figure out how to be there and we were going to
Yeah.
have time together. And there was even that moment, it was a full moon. I was walking on the beach, and remember there was that crane, and I sent you the picture.
Mhm.
And at that point, Kathleen's focus was longevity. And I looked up the significance of the crane and it was longevity. And I'm like, you can't make this stuff up.
Mm.
And so then I took wealth from within. But when I look back, I don't think I really embodied it. I didn't do the journaling. It was powerful, but there was a part of me still holding back.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And that's how the ego will try to keep you safe. I don't need to do the worksheets. I'm not going to answer the questions, you know. So you'll sit there on the lives or you maybe watch the replays, but you won't go all in. So listen to this, guys. Go all in. Do the thing. Do
Yeah,
the thing. Yeah.
yeah. And I think that one of the things that's so spectacular about Kathleen and Diamond Academy is the generosity. So
Mm.
Kathleen invited me into House of Manifestation. I've been one of the teachers there in House of Manifestation for a while, and I wasn't in any paid container. And then this past December, Kathleen nominated me quietly, without expectation, for an opportunity that turned into a $300,000 win. And I wasn't expecting it. And I went, wow, there is intuition, there is generosity, and she's there just lifting people up. And it reminded me I want to be in her world. And so then I joined Modern Mentor this last February.
Mm.
And go ahead.
I was just going to say, like, one of the five secrets that I'm going to talk about probably tomorrow is the importance of generosity in wealth creation and how important it is to give. And I learned that very early on in my journey because it's not, we don't live in a linear world, right? So where I give over here and I'm not compensated for it, I'll be compensated over here, right? So if you're looking for this exchange to happen right here, you're missing out on this whole big world of compensation that is going to come in different ways. And so I always know that the universe will provide for me no matter what, right? And so for me, it was like, you know, Chris reached out to me and he said, you know, they're looking for somebody, you know, part of his coaching world is looking for somebody for this opportunity. And I was like, Mariah Brown, they shouldn't use anybody else. And I didn't go to Mariah and be like, I'm going to refer you over here, but I want a cut. I didn't do that. I was like, I'm genuinely and honestly referring her because I believe she is the best. And so sometimes our desire to be compensated directly for an opportunity hinders us and it keeps us small. So giving is huge. And I love that you shared that because it's a very important lesson. Yeah.
Yeah. And so Modern Mentor has been lovely from a strategy perspective, but more than anything, it's brought me back to identity.
Mm-hmm.
Um, every call that you facilitate, I feel like you're speaking directly to me. I'm sitting there thinking, how does she know? Your intuition is uncanny.
Mm-hmm.
And every session has helped shift my state, rewire my thinking, expand my capacity to receive. And I was even realizing this morning, I went, it's trickled over into my children. The other
Oh.
night, we were sitting around the dinner table, and I was saying something about a woman who's a client, and I'm receiving for her from her, and my 11-year-old said, "Oh, you mean Kathleen Cameron? How'd you know that?" She says, "Oh, she's my mentor too." She says, "When you're listening, I'm listening, and she's speaking directly to me, Mom. She gets me."
Oh, stop. That's so sweet.
It's so I want you to hear that it's in the whole household,
Yeah. Yeah.
and this piece around acting and the assumption of the wish fulfilled, just to
Mm-hmm.
like really embody divine trust,
Mm-hmm.
it gets expanded, and to stop waiting for proof and just to start being the version of me. And so in the midst of it, I reopened doors to my signature program.
Good, 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 good.
But I had kind of lost, I think I got caught up in circumstances and CEO decisions and got a little lost for a little bit. And being in Modern Mentor, it's like, oh, wait, I can absolutely open doors and return to that grounded CEO leadership that I know that's within me, and trusting that of course there are other individuals that are ready and thrilled to invest in their health and well-being, just like I am here in Modern Mentor.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think this is a really important conversation. I'm going to talk a little bit more about it too, but trust, when you have this divine trust and that you said that full body certainty, this full body knowing, what isn't present is doubt. And doubt is the number one thing that is going to keep your life smaller, your business smaller, your bank account smaller. Because when you act upon that doubt, you're making the doubt real and true. And now you're creating a doubtful life instead of a certain life, a knowing life, a divine trust life. And so for me, the thing that I get rid of out of my life as much as I possibly can is doubt. And if I had zero doubt right now, what would I do? That's a question that I ask myself regularly. If I had zero doubt, absolute faith, what would I do right now? That's the decision that I will make, because the universe responds urgency over hesitation. Okay, the universe responds to speed. It responds to urgency. So when you decide from that certain and that knowing place, you're creating the outcome you want by simply choosing it. That's it. And it is that easy. But we go into the mind and we're like, oh, but what if? No, none of that. It's not true and it's not real. So what's next for Mariah Brown? What's next for you, beautiful?
So, I mean, even just more of what is current. We did a 2-week vacation in Hawaii, and I just went up to Kelowna, Canada with girlfriends, and there's new ease and trust. There's so much more abundance flowing in, and it feels way more effortless. Um, so of course, more programs and more retreats, and but I think also not gripping too tightly to the how,
Yep.
but
Yep.
just her trust that of course it's inevitable, that I'm cared for, and when I focus on who she is, just the knowing, and maybe it's 10 million this year.
Oh, I would love that. This is the thing that I've learned about life and the process of life that we call manifestation, right? The universe simply responds to you, and it will simply deliver to you whatever demand that you're making in the mind. The universe will simply provide to you based on that demand. So it says, okay, Mariah has a demand for 10 million. She would love that. And then Mariah has fallen in love with this $10 million idea. And then she's been like, well, what am I going to do with the 10 million? Well, I'd reinvest it here, and I would donate here, and I would take my family on this elevated trip. And then maybe we would buy a second property somewhere. Where would that second property be? What would that look like? And maybe it's even little things like, when I go to that wedding that I'm going to go to next summer, I'm going to give them $1,000 gift, $2,000 gift instead of like $200. The old me used to give like $100 at a wedding. Imagine giving $1,000 instead. Like things like that are the things that I connect to. And so by doing that in the ego, okay, that's not the soul's perspective. The soul doesn't want for a second house. It doesn't want for a trip to Hawaii. Like your ego does, and that's good. It's not a bad thing. It's a productive use of the egoic mind to build a desire and emotional involvement with an idea. And when you create the emotional involvement, you create the desire, you're now saying, money is needed. There is a demand here, and I'm excited for it. And you know what the universe says? Yes. Yes. Here you go. Yes. Here you go. And then you get intuitive hits. And because you're thinking now from 10 million, you're not thinking from maybe 1 or 2 million, you're thinking from 10 million. And then the universe is like, oh, well, we better give her those ideas. Source will give you those intuitive hits. And the next thing you know, you get in a $300,000 opportunity come in like this in an effortless way, right? Literally just put into your life like that. It's because you're thinking from that idea. So does that make sense about like demand comes through desire? Yeah, it's really good. Mariah, I think one of the things that I've noticed about you as well when it comes to life in general is your ability to see people and to know, sometimes you know what I'm thinking, even when I don't tell you what I'm thinking. And one little example of this, where we're talking about the surgery and people are telling me how painful it's going to be and all these types of things, right? And I'm like rejecting it. I'm like, no, like I'm not being, I think some people think I'm just being naive when I say this, but what I actually mean is like, I'm not expecting pain. Like if I go into this expecting pain, I'm going to experience pain. Don't I get a message from her? She's like, oh, one little tip, one little reframe is, let's not talk about pain or discomfort. Let's use the word sensation. And I was like, thank you for giving me exactly what I needed in that moment to be able to shift my thinking to think from sensation instead of pain or discomfort. I thought it was absolutely brilliant. But this is what happens when you're intuitively guided. And so she felt me and made the decision to message me from the feeling. So thank you for that. I think it's phenomenal and beautiful. If you want to find her, Mariah Brown, she is in House of Manifestation. She provides incredible value over there. So you can come into House of Manifestation and receive her teachings, or you can find her on Instagram. Do you have a podcast? What's it called?
Yeah, it's called the Women's Vibrancy Code. It's actually top rated, top 2.5%.
Of course it is. Why wouldn't we expect anything else of Mariah? You know what? Top 1%.
Let's go. And
Yeah.
yes, to the intuition. I mean, like I said, I'm a midwife, but we all have it within us. It's just listening and trusting. So thank you for that validation.
Yeah.
And I have to add, it's not just Kathleen, it's the entire Diamond Academy, everybody. There's so much support, there's so much love. There's just, you never feel alone. And you get to be big and you get to hold a dream that stretches dimensions. And then the community, it's spectacular how much the community is there to cheer one another on and support one another. It's contagious.
Yeah.
So, and of
It
course,
really
it's a
is.
delight to support you, Kathleen.
Yeah. It's so beautiful when you're actually like surrounded by people that are thinking like you, that are actually thinking from this bigger idea, that want to expand. And so you want to be in a group that's going to expand you. You don't want to be in a group that's going to restrict you or contract you back. You want to be a part of something that's going to expand you. And I feel like our community in both Millionaire and Modern Mentor programs are incredible for that. I walk away thinking like, oh man, I'm going to think bigger today because the students come in and they're on fire. And it's like, it has me even expand my reach even more. So I'm grateful. Mariah, I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much for coming on, for chatting, for being the beautiful soul that you are. We can really feel your heart today. So thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Good luck, everybody.
How beautiful it is to hear from people that are actually like living in the vibration that I'm actually talking about, right? So Mariah on an airplane, do you think she's freaking out? I hope not. I hope you don't freak out. No, I'm sure she doesn't. But anyway, so this idea of thinking bigger, I wanna touch on it a little bit before I go into the second secret. But I was having this awareness last night. I've had some pretty like magical things come into my life recently. And they've been so beautiful. And it's not that I believe that anyone is better than anyone in this world, but when you are someone who believes that you're just a small little person from Canada, and then you end up having energy, very, very big energy, very, very well-known people in your life, you kind of sit back and go like, wow, it's all about how you think. It has nothing to do with who you actually are or what you've accomplished. It's an identity thing. And so I started to see myself differently a couple of years ago. I started to really think of myself as, okay, what if I don't see myself as an average or ordinary person? What if I actually see myself as someone that is very, very well known? What if I see myself as someone that has a very, very big following or a big impact? Somebody that is maybe on some big TV shows. I absolutely know that I'm going to be talking about manifestation on the Kelly Clarkson show and the Drew Barrymore show. I think their audiences would love me, and I think they would love me. And I would love for this message to be heard on a platform like that. So do you see how I'm thinking like that? Like Kathleen as a nurse would have never, ever thought I'd love to be on that show and as a guest and have enough value to give on that show as a guest. But now I believe that about myself. Now I'm actually like, okay, Oprah, when do you want me on Super Soul Sunday? Like I'm going to be booked up for the next 6 weeks recovering, but after that, Like I'm available. It's all identity. It's all way of thinking, right? And this is now showing up in my life in very powerful ways. I have a course coming out soon, so I hope you guys will all subscribe once it comes out. But I have a course coming up with Jason Derulo, one of the biggest pop stars in the world, is now doing a course that I suggested that he do, and I'm doing for him and with him. I was also on a meeting yesterday with Heartbeat Productions, which is Kevin Hart's production company, about a potential opportunity. And I actually was on a call yesterday with one of my favorite actresses from one of my favorite movies in the world. It's actually probably my favorite movie. And now her and I are texting. So this stuff it's powerful. And I'm saying it because I want you to see that it's all just about your identity. It's all just about your mind. It's all about what you see, what you feel for yourself, what you think's available for you, and thinking from that place, no matter how long it takes. So do you think that if an opportunity is not going to work for me, you think I'm just going to be like, oh, well, give up on that idea? I'm like, oh, I guess it's next year. I guess it's the next opportunity. I guess it's in the next one, you know? So I should have my own TV show. Well, didn't you see my TV show on the YouTube channel? I thought to myself, if I am a woman that has her own reality TV show, then I'm being filmed all the time and have content going up. So I hired a videographer, an editor, Mike Miller Media, and I have him creating a TV show on YouTube. So you can go watch it. It's called My Manifesting Life. But I'm acting in the assumption, because I'm like, if that's something that I believe is already done, then what would be happening? I would be being recorded all the time. Right? So I'm acting in the assumption that I am that individual, right? I'm doing those things. We actually have, I think it's called Manifesting It All is the name of the series. My Manifesting Life is actually a book that's going to be coming out. I'm doing a compilation book of all manifestation stories. It is 16 manifestation stories. The book is called My Manifesting Life, and it's all members of my community that are sharing their stories. It's sold out in like 3 or 4 days. All chapters are full. These stories are going to be phenomenal. We're probably going to be launching it at the beginning of the new year, so stay tuned. It is a powerful, powerful combination of stories. And there's one particular story in there that you guys are just it's gonna bring you to tears for sure, Barbara's. So Barbara, if you're on here, I'm proud. I'm so proud to have you in this book. Beautiful. Anyways, so let me talk about the next thing. So the feeling of abundance is the first secret. I want you to tap into the feeling of abundance as much as you possibly can. So you got to notice your lack and limitation, notice the restriction, the contraction, notice when you're thinking from limitation. But the other piece is also about your beliefs. So not only the feeling, the thoughts and all that, but what are the patterns and programs in your consciousness? So what is, you could call it your money story, or what are your money beliefs? Reprogramming your beliefs around money will change your entire experience with money. Trust me. Trust me, trust me, trust me. So what do I mean by that? So if you are someone that was raised to save money, to be frugal, to always buy things that are on sale, to not waste your money, not spend your money, only invest your money. What are some other things that we were raised with, other beliefs? These are very, very natural, very, very common things. Talk about RSPs. Save money in your retirement saving plan. Money doesn't grow on trees. Money is the root of all evil. Yeah, there's never enough. If you heard your parents say to you, we can't afford that, we can't afford that, we can't afford that, we can't afford that. That's a belief you're going to have in your subconscious mind now. And you're going to become very aware that you say that now, right? So when we say that to our children, what are we teaching them? My mom and dad don't have enough money. My mom and dad can't afford it. We live in a house that is in lack and limitation. We're in a house that doesn't have enough. And so we're literally teaching our children to go out into the world believing that they don't have enough. And so what is their experience going to be? Not enough. Yeah. So even though you don't have any money, you don't have to say, I can't afford it. You don't have to say, I don't have enough. You don't have to feel that. Every single one of you is going to challenge me on that. You're going to be like, well, how can I be in abundance when I don't have any money? It's just a belief system that you have, right? It's you believing that money runs out, that you don't have enough, that you never have enough, that it's hard to make. Oh, money's hard to make. Okay, that is a belief. I want all of you to let it go. What did Mariah say? Effortless way. Effortless. It doesn't mean zero effort. So we're not saying it's a zero effort way. It's effortless, which means it takes considerable less effort to make more money than it does to make a little bit of money. So my belief was, I'm going to become a registered nurse and I'm going to choose a job where I make an hourly wage. And so I believed that my time exchanged for money, right? That's a belief. Can you imagine someone like Jeff Bezos being like, hey, I'm going to go and make $37 an hour? No, he's not going to do that. He's absolutely not going to do that. There's no reality where that exists. So why would he not do that? Because he now believes something different. His belief system now is that money comes every day in every way, no matter what. No matter what. So if you are someone that is willing to go and make an hourly wage, I say $37 an hour because that was my salary as a registered nurse. I made $37 an hour. So, and that was Canadian dollars, which means in US it would even be less. So that version of me, based on my beliefs around money, I felt that was okay. That was natural. That was normal. Would I go back to that now? Absolutely not. Oh my gosh. It's like the veil has been lifted. And to go back to that sort of thing, it just wouldn't make any sense, right? So if you believe that right now, that's okay. That's what you've been taught, right? Like you've been taught that that's how life works and what we should do. We should exchange our time for money. And so then what would I do if I wanted to make more money in that week? I would do overtime. I would work a 16-hour shift. So if you want more money, you've got to work harder, Kathleen. So then by the end of 2018, I had a full-time job, 2 babies at home. I had a side business that I'd started, and I was finishing a master's degree. Every single moment of my day was busy doing. Constantly. Even my lunch breaks at work, I would work on my business. And as soon as we would sit down at night to watch a TV show together, I would work on my business or work on my master's degree. Right? So what I did is I overwhelmed myself with doing because my belief was I had to do more. So with a lot of my one-on-one coaching clients, what do I have to do with them? Get them to stop working. Literally, like, nope, we're not working anymore today. I remember I had to force somebody to come out on a yacht for the day with me because they wanted to continue to work. And I was like, no, you have to allow that idea to go. Do I still run a business? Yes. Am I still the CEO? Do I own multiple corporations? Yes. Do I show up in my business? Yes. Do I answer emails and questions and all that kind of stuff? Yes, I do. Do I have a team that I manage? Yes, I do. So I am in my masculine energy, but I'm not overworking. I'm not hustling and grinding. I'm not forcing it. I'm not exhausting myself. I don't stay up late. Now it's like, I don't want to work on a Saturday. So I don't do anything on a Saturday. And now Fridays, I'm like, I don't really want to do much on a Friday. Tuesdays, I don't really do anything. I don't take any calls on Tuesdays. Like, and then my business is growing. It's expanding. I was in Turks and Caicos last week and we made sales the entire week and we sold all 16 spots in the book. And I was in Turks and Caicos. So how does that work? The old me who thought she had to work for an hour to make $37 to leave and go on a trip meant no money would come into my life. I don't want you to believe that, right? So these are the beliefs. So what do you currently believe about money? What do you think is true about wealth, right? And then we want to reprogram it. We want to have new beliefs, new understandings, new experiences with money, right? So what is a belief that you would want to have related to money? Give me a belief that maybe I've said naturally that you know you don't believe. Give me something. Money comes easy. Guys, making money is so easy. It's like so easy. But I had to believe that first, right? Yeah. To believe I am wealthy. Okay, I love this. What does it mean to be wealthy? And who decides? So how do you decide that someone is wealthy? So if you're going to look at someone outside of you in your life, how do you decide who is wealthy? What's that like trigger? Is it a certain amount of money? Is it a certain car that they drive? Is it a lifestyle? Okay, so somebody says millions of dollars. That's wealth, okay? Millions of dollars. Financial freedom. Who decides that they have freedom? What does that mean? What does freedom mean? Free from what? Debt? Stress? Right? There's no definition of wealthy. There's no one way to define wealth. Wealth is actually a feeling. To feel wealthy. And so, for me, I can look at the old version of me, making $100,000 a year, and I can say, oh yeah, compared to that, I'm wealthy. But if I compare myself to Jeff Bezos, I don't feel so wealthy. Right? So the law of relativity says that nothing is big or small until you compare it to something else. And so all of you are comparing yourselves to people that have more. And so you're making yourself feel like you're not wealthy and they are. And it's not true. You can, in this moment right now, feel like a very, very wealthy person. You can make the decision to feel wealthy. There is millions and millions and millions of people in this world that don't even have electricity, who live in countries where they have no lights. Okay? So imagine the sun goes down and you have no lights anywhere to be able to do anything. You don't have a toaster. You don't have a microwave. Like you don't have air conditioning. You might not even have doors. What am I doing right now? I'm making you feel wealthy. All I'm doing is comparing your life right now to another life that doesn't have that level of wealth so that you can perceive your wealth from a new lens. Right? And we're not talking about happiness or not. Right? Because, you know, somebody says in the chat, there's people that don't have electricity and they're the happiest people in the world. Remember, wealth and happiness. What did I say about that earlier? So, but if you want wealth in your life, yes, let's do it. But you've got to feel wealthy today. You can't feel like you don't have enough. Gratitude is one of the most powerful feelings in the universe. Authenticity is also another one, but gratitude connects you directly to your source. Because when you're in a state of gratitude, what state are you in? You're in that prayer state. You're in a thank you state. So gratitude, thankfulness, prayer, they are all states that connect you to the divine in a greater way. Because you're saying, wow, look at everything I have. Look at how good my life is. Look at how beautiful this world is. Everything is phenomenal and fantastic. I am so grateful. This life, And then source is like, yes, okay, here's more of that. Yeah, we're given. Right? But when you're in displeasure, so what does it feel like to be in displeasure? I sat on the beach in Turks and Caicos and there was this lady sitting next to me and she was very loud. And so I heard every word coming out of her mouth and she was complaining about her life. And I can tell you right now, if I were to say to her, she's ungrateful, like if I were to say that she was being very, very ungrateful, she probably would be quite offended by that. and probably wouldn't say that that were true. She'd probably like, oh no, I'm grateful. But yet her words were not words of gratitude. So when you're complaining about your spouse, you're complaining about your husband, he doesn't do this, he doesn't do that, he said this, he did this, he did that. Are you in that moment in gratitude for your husband? No, you are not. You are in displeasure. If you start talking about your bank account, how you don't have enough money and you can't pay these bills and blah, 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 and the bank wants to charge you $5 for this transaction, they're stealing our money. How dare they do that? This is what she was talking about. Oh my gosh, displeasure, not in a state of gratitude, right? And then she's complaining about her mom and she's complaining about this and that. And she's talking about this person and how they started a fight and that person wanted to fight. And I was just like, how do you shut that down? Oh, I didn't shut that down. That's not my business. That's her consciousness. That's her cause and effect, not mine. But it made me very aware of the gratitude feeling that I have within myself. It made me very aware that that's not the type of conversation that I have anymore. That's not the type of feeling that I'm in. If you want to sit next to me at the beach, we're just going to talk about how good life is, how grateful we are, how happy we are, like how amazing everything is, like, oh my God. And then Lauren came to Mexico with me. We didn't even know we were staying on a nude beach. We were staying on a nude beach, and I had to really check my belief system about that. There was like older people all walking around nude, and I'd never seen that before. I was like, oh, and then it was like, oh, I could never do that. Oh, I could never. And then it went, well, why not? Why couldn't I do that? So I did it. Lauren's my best friend, so I mean, you know. But I did it. It was so uncomfortable. It made me so nervous, but I had to question and I had to challenge my beliefs around this. Do I think that I have to have the perfect body and be this gorgeous, beautiful woman to be nude on a beach? No, I don't. So I'm willing to get uncomfortable, trust me. But that's just a belief system. Like I had to notice, why am I judging this right now? Why would I say I would never do that? I could never do that. Why not? I think I could. So I'm just always challenging. So the belief systems, they make a difference. So if you believe that you are not wealthy right now, I want you to ask yourself, why do I believe that? Is that true? Is that true? If we were to collect all of your things, your personal items, and we were to put a value on it, right? So let's say the desk that your computer's on right now, the chair that your computer's on right now, all the jewelry that you're wearing, your glasses, all the products that you used in your hair, you know, the mug that you're using, all the books you have in your bookshelf, all the food that's in your pantry, all the dishes, all the cutlery, all the pots and pans, that's all wealth. All of it is wealth. Yeah. But one thing that you won't be able to do, one thing you will not be able to manifest is more wealth from a lack and limitation belief system. So no matter how wealthy you get, your mind is still going to play tricks on you to tell you it's not enough. I could make my mind right now tell me a story about how much money I have and how it's not enough. But I'm not going to do that. In every way, every day, I know I'm wealthy. I know I'm healthy, regardless of what might be showing up in my world. And I know that I'm happy. Even in the moments where I might have sadness, I'm still a happy woman. I'm not a sad woman. I'm not a poor woman. I'm not an unhealthy woman. I would never, ever say those things now, but I believed those things before, right? But this is another thing that I want to make sure that everyone feels very safe with, is that in my energy and in my world and in my life, it's okay to want money. It's okay to want more money. It's okay to say, yes, I would love millions of dollars. I would love an overflowing bank account. I would love to buy this purse, and I would love to take first class, and I would love to go on this trip, and I would love to donate this amount of money to this charity, and I would love to gift my mom this gift, right? It is a safe place to do that. No judgment. Because allowing yourself to want more money is the first step towards receiving it. If you don't even want it, you don't even let yourself want it, you're never going to receive it. So to desire it is so powerful and important. Put it in the chat if you want. If you want more money, you'd love that. I would love that. I'm open to receive this level of abundance. Yes. Right? So I've got my mind on my money and money on my mind. So what does that mean? Okay, to have money on your mind means you have focused attention upon more money in your life. Focused attention on more money in your life. Grateful, but never satisfied. Right? But when he says, I've got my mind on my money, is he saying he's penny pinching? He's budgeting? No. He's very, very aware of his wealth. Right? So when Snoop Dogg said that in the song, I got my mind on my money and money on my mind, he's saying, I'm abundant, I'm prosperous, money is in my life, I want more money in my life, I'm thinking about how I can have more, I'm grateful for all of it that I do have, I see it all, I love it all, and I want more. That's my belief of what he's saying. I think I saw something recently that he gifted his daughter $1 million for her wedding. I would love to do that. That would be amazing. $1 million. Here's your wedding gift. $1 million. A lack and limitation mindset would say, oh, I wouldn't spend that million on the wedding. I'd buy a house with that. Right? But if somebody gifts you $1 million on your wedding, that means you got a lot of other money around. So don't go into that lack and limitation. I want money to come to me without working for it. Does that mean I'm bad, lazy, or selfish person, or is that actually how it works? Okay, Sharon, beautiful question. No judgment for Sharon who doesn't want to work for it, okay? We are going to let that be true and let that be real, because the belief that you have to work for it is a belief that we were taught as we grew up and as we got older. But one thing with money, though, is that money is part of an exchange. So we don't have to use the word work or earn, okay? So you don't have to work for it. You don't have to earn it, but you do have to provide an exchange. So if we go back to our world many, many years ago, before currency was a thing, money, we would exchange based on what we did and what we grew. So if I grew broccoli and Mariah grew carrots, I would go to her and I would say, okay, Mariah, here is some broccoli. And then she would say, okay, here is some carrots in exchange for the broccoli. She has an abundance of carrots. She would give me the carrots and I would give her the broccoli. So there was an exchange between us. So in our world, money is part of an exchange. So when you're saying that you just want to receive money and never ever exchange anything, you're literally saying, Mariah, I'm not giving you any of my broccoli, but I want all of your carrots. It is not a kind world. It is not a reciprocal world. It is not about collaboration. It is not about giving. And it is not then about exchange. So you are then out of alignment with universal laws and how money works. So don't get tripped up on that. We definitely need to exchange something. So when I go get a massage, she gives me a massage in exchange for, and I pay the $250 for the massage. Am I going to go to a massage therapist and be like, hey, give me a massage for free today? No. Now, could I manifest free massages? I definitely have done that. They want me to post about their place, so they'll give me a free massage. But what's the exchange? I'm posting about their place. I'm giving them marketing. So there's still an exchange. Even when we gift, oftentimes, like this is why as a nurse, we weren't allowed to accept gifts, because it's an exchange still. There's still an expectation. And I'm already compensated as a nurse by my salary. So that's why they don't want you to take more, because you're getting a different compensation. So even gifting is still part of an exchange process. But anyways, I say this to say the law of compensation says that you will be compensated based on that exchange and the value in that exchange. So the more resources you have, the The more service you provide, the more goods you have, the better you are at it, the more you will be compensated. So think about Jeff Bezos and Amazon. He has created an exchange all over the world that is so big, so needed, so powerful that it's generated a lot of wealth for him. Bigger the exchange, the more the compensation. So the bigger the impact you want to make in the world, the bigger you will be compensated, right? So if you don't want to help people, you don't want to serve people, you don't want to exchange, I would just go within and ask yourself, what am I doing? And life is inherently meaningless. We give life meaning, and through that meaning is where our fulfillment comes. So you may find without a purpose, without a vision, without a mission, you might find that you're not as connected to the spirit of life. So what if you could serve? What if you could make a difference? What if you could find something that would be a powerful, beautiful exchange? What if you could make a difference in this world? That's where I want to see you all go, is to that place. But I know for me, in order for me to be compensated more with the work that I do, I need to become more. I need to serve more. Not more time, not more effort, not exhaustion, but help more people. So in an event like this, we had 6,000 people registered for this live event. I know there is an iteration in the near future where I have 60,000 on there. So see how my impact will be different with those numbers, right? But it's not going to take me extra time. I'm not going to have to teach for a longer time because there's more people on. I'm just able to influence more people, and that's where the compensation will come from, is through the more. So you do have to have an exchange, especially if you want continuous generational wealth, right? So if you want to manifest a lump sum of money once, like say you came onto this training and your goal is to manifest the 5,000, you're thinking limited. You're thinking about one lump sum of $5,000. But the value of this 2-day training alone is worth way more than 5,000. If you embody and apply everything that I'm teaching you, this could make you millions of dollars. So use the 5,000 as a practice, but please don't make it the means to the end. Don't make it the reason that you're here. Don't make it the limited thought about just manifesting 5,000. So great, I would love to manifest $5,000 and then the millions over my lifetime. That's what I would be saying. That's what I would be thinking. Sure, I'll take the 5,000, but I would also love the rest of the money that's going to come. That is true prosperity, abundance, and that's generational wealth. Generational wealth is also then teaching your children how to be wealthy. So to take this course or program and then to teach your kids these concepts, oh my gosh. Remember I said, like, we need to teach this in school. Like, nobody is teaching anyone wealth energetics. Nobody is teaching how to live abundantly and to think from the feeling of having money. Nobody's talking about wealth beliefs and how to think from that place, right? How can you be fulfilled if you're never satisfied? Christopher S., great question. So I think about it this way. Do we know the story with kids about filling our buckets? There's like a book about the buckets where this kid has like a bucket and all the other kids are like adding to the bucket. So they're being kind, they're treating you with respect, they're giving you gifts, they're giving you compliments, they're helping you with this. And so it's an activity that fills your bucket. But there's also activities that take from your bucket. So if I'm mean to you, I bully you, I call you a bad name, I'm taking from your bucket, right? But how I see it this way is that the buckets, they don't have a cap, right? So we can't, we don't get to this place where we've had enough kindness in our lives. Like, you can't treat me with too much kindness. I'm not going to be like, I've had too much kindness today, stay away, right? So our buckets are overflowing, and our buckets will forever be overflowing. And it's just this beautiful circulation. The more full my bucket is, the more I'm going to fill other people's buckets. And then all the buckets are full all over the world, right? So to me, a full bucket in that idea is fulfillment. But never satisfied means you're not going to say, okay, I'm good. Stop. Right? Satisfaction To be satisfied is not a creative energy. Satisfaction says, you know what? We already know how to fly an airplane. So let's not advance airplane technology at all. Let's not make it any safer, any faster, any more comfortable. We're good. Right? We wouldn't do that. As a human race, we are meant to expand and to grow. Energy is for expansion and fuller expression. So when you're satisfied with your life, uncreative energy. So I would just ask yourself why you're okay with satisfaction. But you can be fulfilled and want more. Like my life is so full. I am like, oh man. But I won't say, I don't think this could get any better. I would never say that. I'm always like, you know what, universe? Show me how much better this can get. I am willing to be open to hear that. I heard once that in terms of feelings, the levels with which we experience a feeling are never ending. The experience of that feeling are never ending. So you think you're happy now? What if there's 20 levels of happiness greater than you've ever experienced? You think you're abundant now? What if there's 20 levels of abundance greater than you've ever experienced? You think you're grateful now? Imagine there's 20 levels of gratitude greater. I said the other day when I was in Turks and Caicos, I was out in the middle of the ocean and living my best life with a beautiful man. And you all know, come on, I got 1,000 questions. Who are you with? Who are you with? Anyways, I'm not telling you. But I literally said, I don't think grateful even describes it. I don't think grateful is the right word anymore. Grateful feels here and I'm like way up here. So what if there's more levels of everything? Higher and higher and higher. And what if that's our experience? I wonder how much happier I can get. I wonder how much more free I can get. I wonder how much more I can experience the feeling of love within myself. I feel love sometimes so much it makes me want to cry. Like I will literally have tears because the love in my heart is so full. It's like so expansive. And I'm not giving that to anyone. I don't give my love away. Love is a feeling you have within you. Somebody can allow you to feel that love more. So when I say I love you, what I'm saying is when I think about you, when I'm with you, I feel the feeling of love. So satisfaction, you're satisfied? Please don't. There's always more levels. I want you to grow and grow and grow and grow and grow more levels, more levels, more levels. Okay, we are getting up to the end. So tomorrow I'm going to talk about 3 more secrets. So the 3 secrets are the feeling of having and the act of having money. So I want to talk about that. I'm going to talk about identity related to wealth consciousness. And then I am going to talk about circulation and the importance of circulation. Okay. So the feeling of abundance and the feeling of having are different. So I want to make sure you guys understand the difference between these things. And then I want you to act in the having. We're going to talk about identity when it related to wealth consciousness. And then I'm going to talk about the importance of circulation. So putting the prosperity idea to work. Now we're thinking from a wealth consciousness. What do we do differently? That's what you're all going to ask me. And that's the embodiment piece. So we will end with that tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm going to give away the cash. So I'm either going to give away one lump sum 5,000 or I'm going to give away 2 2,500s. I haven't fully decided yet. I'm just going to trust intuition in the moment to tell me what's supposed to happen. So tomorrow I will give that away. Tomorrow I'm going to give you these additional secrets. And then tomorrow also I'm going to talk about some exciting opportunities, and I have our wealthiest offer yet. So a lot of you were asking in the comments today about my courses, my programs, what we have open, how you do it, how you can get involved. I'll talk about that tomorrow. So make sure that you come on live. You got to be on live tomorrow to win the money. If you are not here, I'm going to the next person that is here. But it's also okay on the live stream. So if you're on the YouTube live stream, that is okay today. Your homework for tonight, I want you to practice the feeling of abundance tonight. I want you to notice all the abundance in your life. Speak about it. Tell people about it. Call a friend and be like, you know what? I'm really abundant. And these are all the ways in which I'm abundant. I want you to practice the feeling of abundance. So if you have a friend that's in this training, call each other tonight and talk about it. Talk about how abundant you are. I want you to switch your vibration. I want you to go to bed tonight with the feeling that you do have it. that it's not limited in any way, that the not enough thing is gone. And then tomorrow, I'm going to have a separate homework piece for you tomorrow to do. So practice the feeling of abundance. You can tag me on your social media platforms, tag me in the Manifested group if you want. If you want to put it out there and post about it, go right ahead. You'll impact people positively. And if you heard a message today that you think should be heard by somebody in your life, send them the replay to this live event. It's free. And giving and circulating and sharing is always beautiful if you think they would resonate. We're going to end today with a song. This song, he kind of talks about like a woman in the song, but for me, it's a song about God. It's a song about source. It's about connecting to your divinity. It's a song about abundance. And it's a song about opening yourself up to receive. So I can't remember the name of it, but it's by Benson Boone. Hold on, because we have to turn off the live stream. So if you're on YouTube, I won't be able to play this for you. What's the name of the song, Casey? Hold on. I want you, I need you, oh Lord. That one. Yeah, I don't know the name of it. Beautiful Things. Okay, they got me. Beautiful Things by Benson Boone. So we'll listen to this song together, allow yourself to feel the vibration, feel his energy. His energy rises into this beautiful abundance, and then he comes back down again. It's beautiful. Thank you, everyone, for your time. Thank you, Mariah Brown, for speaking. I am so grateful for, everybody coming on with their mind open, for giving me so much love. Life is really, really good, and I hope that you are all realizing that